Good morning, guys. We are back on day 8 of The Warrior, a Kingdom Fit devotional by Brooke Caldwell. If you want to catch up, you can listen to days 1 through 7. If you want to follow along, you can subscribe and hit the notifications bell to be informed when I post every day. Let's get into it. Day 8, The Shepherd. I alone am the good shepherd, and I know those whose hearts are mine, for they recognize me and know me, just as my Father knows my heart, and I know my Father's heart. I am ready to give my life for the sheep. John 10:14 through 15. Colossians 1:19 says that God put all his fullness, all of himself, into Jesus, and that it made God happy to do so. That means that 100% of God's nature, 100% of his character are all found in the person of Jesus. So by looking at Jesus, the way he loved and the way he interacted with people, we actually get to see what God is like. I would like to submit to you one of my favorite titles Jesus uses to refer to himself. But before I do that, I want you to know just a few of the other names of Jesus. Names that represent different aspects of his character. First, we have Savior, because this name represents his purpose in coming to the earth. He came to save, to rescue, and to deliver. He is the only Savior sent by God. Redeemer, because he redeems us. Redeem means to pay off, to buy back, or to clear by payment. Jesus came to pay off the debt of our sin. He came to clear all charges that were against us. Jesus came to be our Redeemer. Friend, because he will never leave us. He has chosen to attach himself to us. His affection for us cannot be tainted. Jesus has pledged himself to anyone who accepts him. Comforter, because his love reassures and soothes. It can cover our deepest hurt and goes beyond our comprehension. But one of my favorite titles for Jesus is the Good Shepherd. In John 10, we see the Good Shepherd tenderly taking care of the sheep. The shepherd guides them and protects them and is even willing to use himself as a shield to defend them. He would willingly die for the sheep. Jesus goes on to say later in this chapter that there is an enemy, a thief, that seeks to harm his sheep, and that this enemy has an agenda to destroy and even kill the sheep if possible. Then Jesus makes it very clear to his audience who the shepherd is. I am the good shepherd who lays down my life as a sacrifice for the sheep. Verse 11. Now, I have never owned sheep, but I have raised baby calves. I would purchase male baby calves from a dairy farmer when they were only 3 days old. These newborn calves had to be bottle fed several times a day. These calves were also very prone to illness. They could possibly die within just 2 to 3 weeks if their eating habits were not closely monitored. I loved my baby cows and ended up raising about 80 of them. One thing I learned at the end of this season was that cows do not want to be pets. The only reason they liked me was because I had food. I invested blood, sweat, and tears in these calves, but in the end, they loved their food more. This is the closest thing I have to compare to what it may be like to be a shepherd. The fact that Jesus, the Good Shepherd, is willing to lay down his life for the sheep astounds me. What are the chances the sheep even notice the depth of the shepherd's love for them, or even appreciate what the shepherd does for them on a daily basis? I alone am the good shepherd. I know those whose hearts are mine, for they recognize me and know me. I am ready to give my life for the sheep. John 10:14 and 15b. And he did just that. Jesus, the very good shepherd, he laid down his life for us, the sheep. No one took his life from him. Jesus freely laid down to save us from the thief, the enemy, and to bring us back into relationship with God, his Father. In this same passage in John, Jesus also refers to himself as the gate. I am the gate. To enter through me is to experience life, freedom, and satisfaction. Verse 9. The gate? That seems strange, doesn't it? But what Jesus is saying is this: He is the only entryway to God. Jesus brings us to the Father. There is no other way to get to God, only one. The shepherd made a way for us to get through the gate. Jesus, the good shepherd, is the only way we can have access to God. Wow, so good. I'll see y'all tomorrow for day 9.